Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to lesson 3, part 1. In this session, the key learning outcome for us is to get familiar with one of the 4 properties of an ism called the grammatical gender. What we mean by that every ism in the Arabic language will be either masculine or feminine. There is no neutral gender in Arabic. So how to identify whether the ism is to be treated as masculine or feminine? So we will do 2 things, give you an overview of the topic of grammatical gender and also how to recognize every ism that you're likely to come across and correctly identify its grammatical gender. In part 2 of the video, inshallah, we will take a closer look at how to use that knowledge of what we've got so far. That is, we are familiar with i'rab, we are familiar with definiteness, and now inshallah we're going to become familiar with gender. How to use that knowledge in forming nominal sentences, which we've already covered, but something new for you, we're going to start looking at the descriptive phrase, which I mentioned in the mapping session. So let's begin with the blessed name of Allah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah, we are already familiar with the idea that every ism in Arabic has 4 properties. The first being definiteness, gender, which we're looking at in this lesson, inshallah, number, and of course i'rab, which is unique to the Arabic language. So as far as definiteness is concerned, every ism will be either ma'rifatun, definite, or indefinite, nakiratun. Or in terms of gender, it will either be masculine, mudh-akkarun, or mu'annathun. And then of course number we'll look at in the next lesson, which will be singular, plural, or dual. And as far as i'rab is concerned, it will either be rafa, nasab, or it will be jar. You should be familiar with this already, and these are the short forms that we are using in these lessons to make it easy for us to progress through the subject. So please make a note of this, inshallah, if you have not done so, and how we are progressing through each part. Al-jins, the gender. In English, we can say, for example, he is a boy, she is a girl. I will refer to the pen and I will say it is a pen. So we have a neutral gender. In Arabic, this is not the case. So every noun or every ism in Arabic will either be treated grammatically as masculine or feminine. So again, as a simple example, we will say he is a boy in Arabic, she is a girl. But even when we're talking about a pen, we will say he is a pen. Or if there's something else which is feminine, we will say she is a car. So this is how it works in the Arabic language. We need to understand why and how to recognize the grammatical gender of an ism in order to use it correctly. Now, if you look at the top list here, it's very easy for you to know how to treat those words on the top list. For example, rajulun, a man, that will be treated in Arabic as masculine. Imra'atun, a woman, will be treated as feminine. Waladun, a boy, will be treated masculine. Bintun will be treated feminine. But what do you do with words like qamarun, which means moon, shamsun, sun, masjidun, mosque, madrasatun, school? How do you treat them? Do you treat them as male or do you treat them as feminine in the language? And this is what we're going to look at closely in this lesson. Alhamdulillah, to simplify this subject, which many English speaking students find very confusing, because in English we have the luxury of the neutral gender, which we do not have in the Arabic language. Each and every language will have its own way of doing things. So in order to fly through this subject, inshallah, I have designed a very simple map for you. As long as you follow the steps in this map, you will not go astray, you will not get confused, inshallah. Please note, I'm going to quickly give you an overview now. Later on in this lesson, we go through in detail. So at this stage, just have the overview of the map in your head, inshallah. And then later on in the lesson, you'll find full details. So let's go through the steps first. First question to ask whenever you come across an ism is this ism real? What I mean by that is, does it have a biological gender? Normally in English, that we would use he or she with. For example, I would say he is a king, she is a queen. So there is some gender there in that word that identifies that it is a real biologically male or female. So with real, what we do is we treat it exactly as it is. So we call them haqiqi in Arabic, and they're treated as it is. So what do I mean by that? He is a headmaster, she is a headmistress. So they treat it as it is in the language, same as we have in the English language. So these are called real ones, and the terminology is on the screen. Now, if it doesn't fall into the real, so for example, my phone, my cup for drinking coffee, my pen, these are not real. There's no biological gender to them. Car, sun, moon, star, feelings, emotions. There is no biological gender to any of those types of ism or nouns. So what do we do with those? First, we look if it has a sign. So the first step is that we put them all into the non-real box, if that's the easiest way to think. And then we ask, does it have a sign? At the end of the word, are any of these signs there? If it is, then we will treat it as feminine. Simple. If it doesn't have any of the signs, but it belongs to one of the following categories, we will treat it as feminine. If it has neither a sign, nor does it belong to any of these categories, which we call usage category, then by default, it will be treated as masculine. Please note that. So default of non-real, which we've called here, you can see, non-real is that it is treated as masculine. Otherwise, if it falls into a sign or category, it will be treated as feminine. So default is masculine. If it doesn't have those two main categories, it will be feminine. There is also one thing in Arabic, non-rational plurals are treated as singular feminine. We will look at that inshallah in forthcoming lessons. So this is your map. That's all you need inshallah to fly through this very complex subject for English speaking students, and we tend to struggle with it a lot because in English we have the luxury of the neutral gender, which we do not have in Arabic. So inshallah, make a note of this map, do a screen capture, whatever else you have to do, and then inshallah in detail we'll go through it now in this lesson. Firstly, what do we mean when I say grammatical gender? In English, it's easy. No neutral gender in Arabic. So we have an issue here that we need to look at. So every ism will be treated either as masculine or feminine. But in English, we have she is a head mistress. He is a headmaster. It is a school. Very easy. That's all you do. Now, in English, there are rare occasion where living things are actually given feminine pronouns. For example, we say, my car, she is a beauty. My car, she is a beauty. So here the car is being treated grammatically as if it is feminine. I hope that's inshallah makes sense to you. So in English, normally we don't, but there are rare occasions. My car, she is a beauty. So I'm treating my car as if it is, grammatically speaking only, as if it is feminine. Of course, in reality, it is not. So if I said, for example, on her maiden voyage, she hit an iceberg. Of course, I'm talking about the Titanic. The boat, Titanic, or the big ship, is being treated as if it is feminine. This is rare in English language, but we have it. You have to have the same mentality when it comes to Arabic. You have to treat every ism either as masculine or feminine. So at the beginning, it will look strange, but soon, inshallah, you'll get used to it. So for example, pen, I will treat it as if it is masculine. For example, car, I will treat it as feminine. So we're going to look at that inshallah. So when I'm referring to grammatical gender, what I mean is how is that noun or ism being treated in the language itself. So if you recall the map, the first step is to sort out the reality. Reality will always be treated as it is, and I believe that is the case in every language. So in any language you speak, boy, girl will be treated biologically, linguistically as they are biologically. So here, these are the easy ones for us. Akhun, brother. Ukhtun, sister. Abun, father. Ummun, mother. Malikun, king. Malikatun, queen. Naqatun, female camel. Jamalun, male camel. So there is really no worry here. So you'll simply treat it as it is. If it's real male, masculine. If it's real female, feminine. Once we separate the real and the non-real, we are only dealing with the non-real at the moment. Words like qamarun, shamsun, masjidun, madrasatun. How do we treat these words? Are they to be treated as a boy word or a girl word? He or she? What do we do with these nouns plus millions of others? Majority of them, of course, will be non-real. as in the language. So we need to now find out a simple step of knowing these. Inshallah, as I've shown you in the map, there's only 3 very simple steps you need to follow, and you will not be confused about this topic. 3 simple steps. So the first step for us is to separate out the real and the non-real. With the real, very easy. If it's a real masculine, it will be treated in the language as masculine. If it's a real female, feminine, it will be treated as feminine. Very simple step, inshallah, step 1. Now we are left only in our box with all the non-real words. Then, as I've showed you earlier, you ask for masculine or feminine. Very simple step. You ask first question, does it have a sign or does it belong to the usage category? If it's not, step 3 is to put them all into the masculine box. So again, very simple. Real first, then you will not be confused. Then with step 2, we look at non-real, and then we separate them out in masculine and feminine based upon whether they fall into the sign or the usage category. Grammatically treated feminine by sign. There are 3 signs which, if you see at the end of a word, they're very likely to be treated as feminine in Arabic. The first and the most important, ta marbuuta, and this is the one we're going to look at some detail in this lesson, inshallah. The second is Alif Mamduuda, and the third is Alif Maqsuura. Please don't worry if you do not know the terminology already, and again, don't worry if you don't even recognize what they are. Inshallah ta'ala, through examples, you learn them. So these are special names given to these letters, if you want to call them that, appear at the end of words. And this indicates, or these are one of the signs that that word should be treated as feminine. So ta marbuuta, which is a round ta. Alif Mamduuda is an alif followed by hamza, and Alif Maqsuura, which is written like a ya at the end of a word, but has fatha before it, and it's actually a dotless ya. But in reality, it's an alif. You elongate the sound. Very similar what you do with alif normally, that elongates the sound. Ta marbuuta, feminine by sign. This sign, ta marbuuta, is the most common of all of words that are feminine. In fact, it covers a wide range of real as well as non-real words which are to be treated as feminine in the Arabic language. Of course, real words you'll treat as it is, as we've done already, the separation in step 1. But if you see ta marbuuta at the end, it is very, very likely that it will be treated as feminine, as it is the most primary sign of something to be treated feminine in Arabic. So for example, let's look at some words here on the screen which will help us, inshallah ta'ala. And you can see there are a huge range of words. So we have first jannatun, paradise. Ayatun, sign. This is of course miracle as well, but it is an ayah of Qur'an it refers to. Sa'atun, watch. Ghurfatun, room. Salatun, prayer. Zakatun, zakah. Kabiratun, big. Sayyaratun, car. Suratun, surah. Ba'idatun, far. Fitnatun, trial. Ghurfatun, room. Qaryatun, town or village. Madinatun, city. So you can see huge range, all having ta marbuuta, all of them to be treated as feminine because they end with ta marbuuta. There are some masculine nouns in Arabic which have ta marbuuta at the end. Very few that you're likely to come across. For example, Usama or Usamatu. Usama is a name of a male person. Then we have Muawiyah. Then we have Hamza. And then we have Talha, Khalifa. These are all masculine names or names of male persons. And therefore, they will be treated as masculine. Why? Remember step 1. So even though they look like exceptions, they're not in reality exceptions. So if you see a word that is masculine, meaning real male, and has a ta marbuuta at the end, it will be treated as masculine. Why? Because reality is always treated as reality. So again, beware of exceptions with ta marbuuta, but they are very, very rare. Very, very rare. And it is only used with those which are real masculine. And if you follow my steps that I gave you earlier, that you separate the real from the non-real, then inshallah this confusion will be removed. So ta marbuuta, you can take it as a exclusive sign of feminine, apart from the fact that when in rare occasions it is used with real masculine names, particular which have ta marbuta at the end. There are large sets of words that you'll come across which will have a masculine and a feminine version. And it is very easy to convert from the masculine to the feminine, of course, and vice versa, if you follow the following steps. But take, for example, we have the word Muslim. Now, I'm sure by now we all know that the word Muslim, of course, refers to a male Muslim. So this is masculine and ends with Muslimun, Musliman, or Muslimin in the three different i'rab which we've already seen. So it's simple. This is masculine Muslim or male Muslim. But to say a female Muslim, I will say Muslimatun, Muslimatun or Muslimah if we end there. So this is a female. So this is feminine. Now, in order to convert from the masculine to feminine, it is very, very simple. All you need to do is follow the following steps. Number one, you will place a fatha at the end of the word. So no matter what it has here, you'll cross it off and you place a fatha at the end. Let me change the color so you can see that. So you place a fatha at the end of the word. So you can see the first step is to place a fatha on the last letter of the masculine word. And then what you do after that is that you add the ta marbuta at the end. So you get your ta marbuta, which is here. You can see either it will be written like so, or if the letter before it allows you to join to it, and this is Arabic writing rules, you write it like so. So you can see the two different versions on the screen. So you will add the ta marbuta at the end of the word. The third step is to place the correct vowels at the end depending on what the i'rab of that word will be. So the i'rab will dictate what goes at the end, but nonetheless, these are the three steps that you need to take. So with this one, Muslimun, we wanted to say in the rafa, we'll say Muslimatun. So I've done the first step, I put the fatha and I put the ta marbuta and I put the tanween at the end. For Musliman, we do not need the extra alif, so that's gone. So we put the fatha here and then we put at the end, the two fathas there in the nasab. And same thing with the jar. We take exactly the same, the fatha, 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 remember the rule. And then we put the whatever it needs to be at the end. And that's all you need to do to convert for those words that have a masculine ism and a feminine version of the same ism. So you'll see that many, many times in Arabic, and you need to learn how to do this in order for you to make sentences or translate sentences or phrases, etc. in Arabic. Primarily, this is done with words that are derived nouns, they call them, as well as adjectives and the types of those types of words. You will have a masculine and a feminine version. Take a close look at the words on the screen. You have at the right-hand side the masculine, and there's a space there for the feminine version of the same word. So we have kabirun, and then we have munafiqun, saghirin, salihun, we have qasiran, and we have mushrikatun. So what I'd like you to do is convert the masculine to feminine, and there's one feminine word which I'd like you to convert to masculine using the three steps that I showed you earlier. Please complete this task before continuing the video. This will help you practice the rule that I went through, and inshallah, if you do it a couple of times, you should be able to remember this rule forever, and this will help you throughout your Arabic studies. Before continuing, please complete this task, pause the video, then come back to it. Let me go through the steps with you as a reminder. I hope you've actually paused the video and did this exercise. Get yourself a sheet of paper, a notebook, whatever, and please complete it, because this is something very easy, and inshallah it'll give you the confidence that you've learned something that you can progress with. So our first word is kabirun. Kabirun is masculine. We need the feminine version of that. So the rule is you don't touch anything before the last letter. You put a fatha on the last letter, doesn't matter what it had originally, and you put a ta marbuta at the end. So before the ta marbuta, you'll always see a fatha, always. So this is the rule. Inshallah, you add a fatha on the last letter and you add the ta marbuta at the end. And then we have the word munafiqun. We want the feminine version of that. Again, same principle, same step. And we put a fatha and we have the ta marbuta at the end. So you can see here three simple steps that I've done with the two examples above. Saghirin means small, and we want the female version of that. Saghiratin. Saghiratin. You can see very simple. Salihun, pious, female pious or righteous. And then we have at the end, the last one on that right hand side is qasiran. You're going to notice the extra alif I mentioned before, which comes when you have two fathas at the end. So let's do this one. It will be done, and we don't need to put the two fathas when it's ta marbuta. And that's all we've done, inshallah ta'ala, in this one. And again, you can see simple steps that we're following. Now, the next one, we need to reverse engineer it back to the masculine. Very easy, because we know last step is to add the ta marbuta, so we get rid of that. And then last one was that we add a fatha on the letter. But because the other one has tanween at the end, we'll put the same tanween on the masculine version. So let's look at this one, inshallah. Mushrik. So we go back to that step. Ta marbuta has been deleted, or let me write it and then delete it so you can see it. So I delete that. I have fatha there. I need to get rid of that, and we go back to the original. Mushrikun. Mushrikun means a idol worshipper or polytheist. So you can see here, alhamdulillah, very, very simple steps that you need to take to convert the masculine to feminine. I hope and pray that you've actually done these. Please make sure you practice as many as you can, and that way that knowledge will become permanent, inshallah ta'ala, in your knowledge base. So take a quick screenshot of this if you have not done so already. Please make a note of the masculine and feminine version, how to convert from one to the other. One very important point, let me illustrate that inshallah with more examples. So we have Muslimun, Muslimatun, Mu'minan, Mu'minatan, Salihun, Salihatun, Al-Abida, Al-Abidata. Okay, means the worshipper. Mushrikun, we've done already, Mushrikatun. So we have the masculine, feminine conversion that you already know. These are adjectives, so let's look at some of them. Kabirun, Kabiratun, Saghirin, Saghiratin, Kathiran, Kathiratan, Qalilin, Qalilatin, Al-Qaribu, Al-Qaribatu. Again, exactly the same as we've done before. Of course, note in the last example we had al, therefore there is no tanween, the single vowel sign. All the things that we've learned so far, all coming. But there are certain words, or there are many words in Arabic which are names of things. For example, a pen. Pen will be either masculine or feminine. A book will be either masculine or feminine. Car will be either masculine or feminine. There is no masculine and feminine version of each. So you cannot do that to every single word. Please note that there will be certain words, or quite a few of them, that you'll come across which will either be masculine, feminine, based on the rules that I've already told you. So for example, ayatun. Why is ayah treated as feminine in Arabic? Because it has the sign at the end. Qalamun is pen, is masculine. Why? Because it doesn't fall into, or does not have the sign, nor does it fall into any of the categories of feminine. Sayyaratun, car, feminine. Niyatun, intention, feminine. Jannatun, paradise, feminine. So you can see here that the words, the conversion bit that we've done is not applicable throughout the language, because you cannot make pen a male and female version. They are in reality one or the other, and that will be based on the rules of the language. So please make a note of that very important point. Alif Mamduuda. Alif Mamduuda literally means the elongated alif, meaning you lengthen the sound. It occurs only at the end of an ism, and it has an hamza after it. Please note, with no hamza, then it is not Alif Mamduuda. Just because it's got a long alif at the end, it will not fall into this group. And it's a sign of something being feminine. Please be aware that there are exceptions. For example, Zakaria, that you can see here at the end, has the alif, but this is masculine. Why? Because in reality, it is masculine. For now, just make a note of few examples. Inshallah, this will be discussed in detail when we look at derived nouns in the more advanced lessons. But for now, just note that examples of these types of words will be treated as feminine in Arabic. So sahra'u, darra'u, bayda'u, hamra'u. Now note, in Arabic we got red, white. These are words that are referring to colors. In Arabic, because they're treated as adjectives, you will have a male and female version. This is the feminine version. We will look at that inshallah in more advanced lesson. And others like sahra'u, darra'u, because of the sign, they are treated as feminine. Again, when you look into derived nouns, this will make a bit more sense. So please note the second sign is Alif Mamduuda. It is less rare in terms of the volume of words that you will come across. Alif Maqsuura. Alif Maqsuura is written as a dotless ya that appears end of some words. It is referred to, or it means basically shortened alif. So please note, the way to recognize it is that there is no dots, plus before it you will see either a fatha or a standing kharazabar, as they call it in the Indian subcontinent, or dagar alif, as is referred to sometimes in Arabic text. So this is usually written, the letter ya without dots, and it can be sometimes written also as a normal alif. Again, these are written rules that you don't need to worry about for now. They are also a sign of a word to be treated as feminine. For example, husna, bushra, sughra, kubra, ad-dunya, the world, greater, older, smaller, youngest, etc. Good news, good or beautiful. So these are just examples of these words which are treated as feminine in the Arabic language. Please note that there will be exceptions. Now the exceptions are also covered within the rule that I've given you. For example, Isa alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam, Yahya, these are real masculine, so they'll be treated as masculine. So as long as you remember the first step, inshallah, you will not be confused. So this is another sign, again rarer than the ta marbuuta that we came across. And again, when we do the more detailed look at the derived nouns, inshallah, this will make sense. So I hope, inshallah, you made a note of this. All you need to do, as I said before, just be aware of it, and when we go to the more detailed, we will pick it up. So in summary, if you see at the end of a word ta marbuuta, you know that it is to be treated as feminine. Of course, the exceptions been already covered. Ayatun, suratun, jannatun. Alif Mamduuda at the end of words, it will also be treated as feminine. And Alif Maqsuura, if it appears at the end of a word, it is treated as feminine. So these are your three signs of femininity in the Arabic language. Grammatically treated as feminine by usage. There are certain categories of ism that are treated in Arabic as feminine, even though they're not real feminine and they do not have the signs of being feminine. So we're going to study them under a category called usage, meaning that these words have been used as feminine in the Arabic language by Arabs. Therefore, we will accept them as feminine. So simple usage. The first category, which is the easiest one to remember, is body parts in pairs, meaning any part of your body that you have in pairs, the ears, the eyes, the hands, feet, etc. You have two of, they are treated primarily as feminine. So some of the words that you're likely to come across: yadun, which means hand; aynun, eye; qadamun, foot; rijlun, leg; udhunun, ear. So udhunun, ear. These words will be treated in Arabic as if they are feminine. So grammatically, they will be treated as feminine. As far as body parts that are singular, for example, anfun, nose; we have ra'sun, head; and then we have lisanun, tongue, or it's also used for language. These words will be treated as masculine. Please note a simple rule, that's all it is. Why and what, don't get into it. There is no reason to even dwell on that. That's just the way it has been used in the Arabic language. Names of most places and some tribes, etc., are also treated as feminine. For example, Misr or Misru, Egypt; London, London; Makkah, Makkah; Asham, Syria; Arum, Roman Rome. Now these words are treated as feminine in the Arabic language. Majority of the places you like to come across, names of places, will be treated as feminine. and also some tribe names like Quraysh and others will be treated as feminine. Exceptions: there are 6 Arab countries which are treated as masculine. For example, As-Sudan, Al-Iraq, Al-Urdun, Al-Yemen, Al-Maghrib. So these are few countries that are treated as masculine by Arabic language. So again, usage, these are the few exceptions you're most likely to come across. The next category are words that are used to refer to fire, wind, and wine, that kind of thing. So for example, you have Jahannamu, hellfire, Rihun, wind, Sarsarun, cold wind, Khamrun, wine, Narun, fire. So these words are also treated as feminine, and we'll group them under the category of wind, wine, and fire. So under the usage category, we so far have body parts in pairs, we have names of places, and we have words associated with wind, fire, or wine. Beyond these categories, there are a handful of words, very few. That's probably very rare that you come across anything than those listed on the screen. So please make a note of these. These are the words that you're likely to come across that are treated as feminine in Arabic. So for example, Harbun, war. Darun, which means a house or abode. Also another word for house is Baytun. Baytun is treated masculine, but Darun is treated as feminine. Nafsun, the self. Shamsun, sun. Ka'sun, cup. Ardun, earth, as in planet earth. Bi'run, well. And Dal'un, bucket. So these are a few miscellaneous words that are treated as feminine in Arabic. Just make a note of them in your notebook, inshallah. There is one very important addition to this list, which we will cover in some detail in lesson number 6. But this is the idea in Arabic that non-rational plurals are grammatically treated as singular feminine. And this is quite a weird rule for us. So it will be treated as singular feminine. Don't worry, inshallah ta'ala, as we develop our knowledge, I will be giving you plenty of examples. But these words or plurals of non-rational beings are treated in Arabic as singular and feminine. Please note that, inshallah. Whether the singular is masculine or feminine doesn't matter. As long as the plural is of the non-rational kind, it will be. So what do I mean by rational and non-rational in Arabic? Out of everything in the universe or everything of creation, it can have a name. Any noun that refers to angels, jinns, or humans is called aqil in Arabic, rational. Anything does not have that is called ghayru aqil, non-rational. And that's all I need you to remember for now. And be aware that there are sets of words which are plurals of words that are not angels, jinns, or humans, can be treated in Arabic as singular feminine. So in conclusion, let us summarize what we have learned so far in this lesson. The map I introduced you to at the beginning of the lesson, we're going to go through it now that we've gone through all the steps and we should be familiar with the topic. Please use this map. This is going to save you a huge amount of time in making notes, studying the subject, and getting confused over it. Anytime you come across a word which is treated feminine, come back to this map and inshallah all your confusion will be removed. All you need to do is go through the steps I've given you. And for English speakers, this is a confusing subject. I do accept that. But inshallah it will become very easy. So I'm going to show you on full screen. Please feel free to take a copy of this, rewrite it, redesign it. I'm sure you can do a far better design than me, and keep your own notes. Once you've done it once, it will become part of your knowledge base. You won't have to worry about it for the rest of your study, inshallah. And please believe me when I tell you, this topic is going to come again and again. What is masculine, what is feminine? So let's solve it right at the beginning before we go into deeper study. So let's review our map one more time. Every ism in Arabic will be either masculine or feminine. The first question you need to ask is this word referring to something real? I.e., does this have a real gender? Is it biologically male or female? Like we would use in English, he or she. If it is, you treat it as it is. Please do not move from this step until you've done this part. Then everything else, all the exceptions and confusion will be removed forever. So first thing, Haqiqi, is it real? Then it is treated as it is. If it's not real, which will be the bulk of the isms, you'll follow the following step. The first question you will ask is, does it have a sign? If it doesn't have the sign, then you will ask the second question, does it belong to the usage category? As far as the signs are concerned, there are three which appear at the end of the word. Ta marbuuta. And you've got some examples on the screen for you. Alif Mamduuda. And we have Alif Maqsuura, which you can see, alhamdulillah, on the screen. So these are your three prime signs. Again, the exceptions that you will most likely to come across will be if you haven't separated the real from the non-real. If it doesn't belong to any of those or doesn't have any of these endings, the next question to ask, does it belong to any of the following categories? Is it body parts in pairs? Is it the name of any place or tribe, etc.? Does it refer to wine, wind, or fire? Or does it belong to the handful of miscellaneous words? If it doesn't, then you will by default treat it as masculine. So please note, almost majority of the words you'll come across which are non-real, you will treat it as default, which is masculine. And then the last one, inshallah, we'll cover in more detail, broken plurals or plurals of ghayru aqil, which is the non-rational beings, can be treated in Arabic as singular feminine. And this is all you're going to need in order to proceed with this subject, inshallah ta'ala, even until you get to advanced level. Alhamdulillah, all the praises and thanks belongs to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Alhamdulillah, I have shared with you, brothers and sisters, a simple map, simple step-by-step instruction on how to recognize the subject of gender of an ism in Arabic. I hope and pray I've been able to do justice, and that it is a very simple way of approaching a subject which for English speakers, I including myself, when we first started learning Arabic, I found very confusing. But these steps, inshallah ta'ala, will help you. Please do watch these videos with the intention of learning Arabic to understand Qur'an, and also, inshallah, Allah grant you tawfiq to not only learn but also to teach in your local community whatever you find of benefit from here. So take this, inshallah ta'ala, as a lesson for learning Arabic to understand the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. Please do give me feedback if anything here is complex or if there are any mistakes. Of course, human beings are prone to making mistakes. I will correct them in the next version coming. Keep your feedback coming, inshallah, suggestions, anything that can be done to improve the program. I will do my level best if it's possible for me to implement for you. That's it for now. May Allah bless you and reward you for all your support, all your du'as and all your messages. I am really overwhelmed by them, and I'm grateful to Allah Azza wa Jal for them first of all, and to you for giving me feedback. Until the next video, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. الذي علم